Parshas Chukas, Tovshin Pehei over here, the Mir Yehivah here in Brooklyn, New York. Rabbi say, it's a murder parsha in front of us. The parsha starts out in the Torah Aduma. Rashi says the Satan Umas Ha'olam. Tell us, what mitzvah is this? What's the reason for this? Matam Yeshba. So Hashem tells us, Gzeri Milfane Ein L'Chor Rishus L'Hara Achareh. Rabbi say, Tiferes Shmuel brought down the famous kasha. Since when do we care what the Umas Ha'olam say, Rabbi say? Since when do we care? The Satan Umas Ha'olam tell us, Matam Yeshba. The Torah has to tell us, Gzeri Milfana Ein L'Chor Rishus L'Hara Achareh. Rabbi say, there's a very, very strong point I want to bring out for the Olam. And that is, there was a Meiser once. There was a Bacher who was driving, L'Leinev L'Elechem. A child never ran out from the middle of a street. Totally not his fault. Rachmana litzlan, what happened? L'Leinev L'Elechem. Rabbi said the boy couldn't sleep for weeks, or for months afterwards. He had such a guilt trip. He felt so terrible. Relived it. Nightmares. Even though he was perhaps not even a shogeg, he was driving safely. And still he felt that through him Nebuch, a neshama was lost to Klal Yisrael. Rabbi said, if a person wears shatnez, does he feel the same way? He can't sleep at night. You know, he wore shatnez. He realized as soon that he had a shatnez. For weeks he turns over in his bed. For months he feels a pang of guilt. Well, the Meiser figures, back of his head, shatnez is really so bad. I mean, it's the end of the world. Rabbi say, we have to understand. Look at the Chochmah and the Bria that Hashem made. The Rambam says you want to come to Avos Hashem, you have to look at the Chochmas HaBria. Also says look at the Chochmas HaTorah. Look at the Chochmas HaBria. Said many times, a person, one aver, one part of the body is not working properly. Rachmana has to be hospitalized, and they try all sorts of machines and equipment to try to mimic, to try to copy the functions of the body. And it's almost very difficult for any imitation to be like the real thing that Kadosh Baruch Hu created. There's no dialysis Rachmana litzlan that can properly replace a kidney. The Chochmah is Arein Shia. A person can spend his whole lifetime trying to understand the Chochmah in the human eye, the heart, the lungs, the liver, a baisai. This is Chochmah Arein Shia. Now, Chazal tell us, Istaka B'Raisa Bora Alma. All the Chochmah, the Bria comes from the Chochmas HaTorah. So Rabbi say, if a Kadosh Baruch Hu, who loves us so much, gives us a mitzvah and tells us what to do, or tells us what not to do, we have to believe and we have to feel that any mitzvah say is toiv ad belidai, and every lois say is Rachmana litzlan, hamavas v'sara Rachmana litzlan. We have to believe, and we do, that Kadosh Baruch Hu gives us a mitzvah. That mitzvah is a toiv lonu kol hayomim, not just for the next world, for this world too, because Hashem wants the best for us. The toiv lonu kol hayom, like the pasuk says in Parshas V'eschanon. And chasham and avera, even if you don't understand it, is a tachlis hara. Rashi is telling us a moedik gezachia. Of course, you're going to keep the Torah mitzvahs. But the shaila is, are you going to do it with a feeling, with a geschmack? Are you going to do it like the mitzvah para aduma? Like you feel a tahara, and you do it like, I don't know exactly what this is, I don't know what it does, but the rabbi tells me to do it, I have to do it. Taina is El Chushus Tahara Chara means that you have to do it with an understanding and a belief in the Rabbeinu Shalom that this is L'Toyvonu Kol Hayamim. Said many times, that's Pshat. Why the Eitz Hadas, the Kodesh Baruch Hu now allow Adam Rishon Tif and the Eitz Hadas. Eitz Hadas Tevra L'Yisoichel Mimenu. And the Kasha is, what can be better than Das? First Bracha Shemon Esrei Bakoshes is Atochoy Lodam Das. Everyone wants Das. And Deya Chasarta Maknisam Deya Knisam Achasarta. There's nothing besides Deya. Famous Chasana song with Marova, right? Do Koni Ma Chaser. If you have Deya, you're not missing. Loi Koni Ma. You have nothing else. If you don't have Deya, what do you have? Samasham Marova. But yet Hashem says, don't even eat Tzadas. Why not? Why not, Rabbi say? What's better to eat? Other fruits? Here you have just and the answer is Rabbi say. Because we are too small to know what's Tov and Ra. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, His infinite wisdom, knows the Taryag mitzvahs, what is Tov for us and what is Ra for us. It's beyond our comprehension, beyond our abilities. We see today, Rabbi say, in the world, when they think they know Tov and Ra, the same person that in the liberals that are fighting against the death penalty, they say it's cruel. They say no, we can't. It's not. We have to pardon them. It's not cruel. The Torah says how a person has to Michal Shabbos to save one Ev of Maguf, and yet they can allow how many millions of children are killed in abortions. Because they think they know it's Tov and Torah. They think nothing wrong with that. They decided this is Ra. They're running around the place to Africa to try to save a panda bear. The boy said we're too small to know. The Torah is telling us the Moed Gezach. Don't just do the Paraduma. Don't just not wear shanis. But do it with Amun and Hashem. Do it with a Geschmack. It has to be the same chomer to you, like Ritzicha. The same choshev to you, like Habesivicha Vesimecha. You have to believe and you have to feel the toiv in it. That's what we was Mekabel the Torah. Hashem gave it to us Nasa v'Nishma. We believed. We said that we said Kodesh Baruch Hu loves us, and we believed they're only going to give us something that's good for us. The Goyim didn't believe in Hashem. They didn't trust Him. Baksibba, we don't want, we do understand. And everybody said they stayed with nothing. The first of this parsha is the parsha of the Choik of Paraduma. The number one in our job is to believe that Hashem says it's good. It's good. Chasham's not good. It's not good. We said many times. Spoke about. If you remember Parsha Shalach. Spoke about the Indian of the Meraglim, and we said, what was the Taina and the Meraglim? They wanted to see Eretz Yisrael. They wanted to see the land for themselves, to see how it is. And we said, everybody said, Taina was. If Hashem tells you it's a good land, I'm taking you up to Eretz Toiva Rechava. But Eretz Avos Chol V'Devash, what do you have to see for? You don't trust it by Hashem. You want to see for yourself. It's a mokum litos. You don't know what you're looking at. They came back with a terrible report. No, it's not a good land. People are too strong. This and that. Even though Meyer, the truth was, Rochav Azoyna said that people are melting in fear from them. Everyone's dying. Hashem made a miracle. They should die for purposely. They shouldn't be able to see them. They shouldn't catch them. It was Aus Toiv. But they saw Ra. But say, don't trust Hashem, Chas Hashem. So many times, the Mishnah tells you, if someone gives his life for Torah, when it comes to that's the next thing we'll talk about now. Person gives away everything, Pasam Melech, Mayim Sur, everything gives away for Torah. Ashrecha Ba'il Mazeh. You don't believe it, Hashem says, you don't trust me. You think you're smarter. Okay, fine. So spend your life in meetings, spend your life running around the world, try to make it onto the Forbes list, everybody say. We have to trust it by Yisrael. He has only our best interest in mind. Tumas Yisharim Tanchim. Like we said on Masechta Shabbos about Kabbalah Torah. And that takes it to the next Yisoid. Zois HaTorah Adam Kamas Ba'ayel. Pasuk Yadal, it says the Gemara Masechta Brachas of Samachim Al-Beis Amar Yishlakish. And HaTorah Miskai Mishamei Misatzmei Alera B'Yisai. The Torah is only miskayim with someone who's memes, he kills himself for Torah. Rabbi say, what does that mean exactly? Memes hatzmei leah. What does that mean? Rabbi say, I'll explain to what the Gemara is telling you. Torah is only niknem b'amilas. The Gemara tells us Yegatu Matzos Atam. There's no shortcut. It's funny. There are many shortcuts in this world. If a guy achveis can, especially today, who goes to college anymore today, unless achveis you're pro achveis the terrorists, Shemrach. Well, who's going to college today? You want to go to college today? You go online. Achveis to have courses and this. You come to achveis at the acting and lawyer achveis in 4 months. As long as you pay a certain fee, whatever it is, and all of a sudden, you become whatever you want. What's Takib Shat? Say, Odom Kamusa, the oil. Torah is lahavlan al inyan l'chochma. There's no shortcuts for learning, Rabbi say. There's no shortcuts. Torah, Rabbi say, cannot be acquired in a relaxed, take it easy attitude. Smoking a pipe, sitting back, take it easy. You apply with nothing, Rabbi say. Torah requires you to sweat. It's a Tanai in Kabbalah Satira. Be'em Mir Yehivah Bezeya. It's a Tanai in Kabbalah Satira. It's a Tanai in Havana Satira. Says the Gemara, Lo Yagatu Matzos Al Tam. The guy says it wasn't me a Geya. Says, and he learned. Don't believe him, it's not true. Al Tam. It's not possible. Torah cannot be acquired without giving yourself completely over to the Torah. You have to become, the Torah has to take you over. Adam Kiyamos Ba'oil, you have to be in the tent, you have to be in it. The Torah is Meroim, the Torah uplifts you. The Torah changes you, Rabbi say. Adam Kiyamos Ba'oil is a requirement. Rabbi say, many Gedolim in the history of Klal Yisrael, including today's generation. And every Gadol has a different story. So many books written, right? Some Gedolim grew up in a rich family, some in a poor family. Some the father was yeshiva, some the father was a businessman. Some lived in a Sephardic, some were Ashkenaz, some were Hasidic, some lived in every type, every Gedom, all types, all settings. Some were yeshiva, some did not be yeshiva, some wrote Seforim, some. But there's one common denominator, all of them. All of them. You'll find every single one. And there's only one common denominator. Everything else you see is different. No one became a Gadol without Amilas. I've yet to see one story book about a Gadol that said this Gadol, he was a chiller. He liked to take it easy. He was rather, to me, he was rather a big Yankee fan, But you should know, but he was so brilliant that a couple hours a day, he was able to know Gan Shas, Shulchan Aruch, Boiskim, this, Mamish. He was so brilliant. And he was just a Gadol, he didn't have to sweat too much. Put a couple hours a day, the rest of the day he chilled out. Took it easy. Rabbi said it doesn't exist. There's not one book like that. Every Gadol, whether it's a Moshe Feinstein, there's a Chaim Kanievsky. You can imagine whether it was Hasidic Gadol, Litvish Gadol. It makes no difference where he was and where he came from. He learned ad afisis koichosov. He was up in the morning, Rashmaris HaBoiker. He didn't go to sleep all night until he burned the midnight candle, like they say. He didn't waste time in between. They learned for hours and hours. It was 10 hours, 15, 20 hours. And not just learned to boys, not just how many times learned. With the ganze koiches, with the ganze moyach, with the ganze concentration, with the ava. That's how they became great. They were geniuses, they were smart, they had photographic memories. They say over.
I think they said he grew up like a Chicago Cubs fan. Yeah, you steig this.
If he came to the Mir, he learned 18 hours a day here in Ochanami. That's when he struck those 100%. Rabbi say, the point of the matter is, I can make it very clear. There's no shortcuts to godless. The Chazon Ish, who's able to write Seforim on Zeroyim and Taharis and everywhere in between. Read the Seforim of Kiddush HaKodesh, you blow your mind to try and understand it. How does it one lifetime, it's 75 years to cover such an amount? And the answer is, Chazon Ish didn't go to sleep until they didn't have 1 ounce of strength left. Someone's asked Rav Chaim Becher Scheinberg, that's all. He's asking about taking a nap. Once it was a shower, taking a nap. He takes a nap in a storm. He takes a nap at this time. He says, take a nap. He says, how do you take a nap? He says, you have to learn how to be. You fall asleep, understand the fine. You can take a nap. You go into bed and all the day. You don't understand it. Lo yagadu mitzvos al tamid. Torah dafka requires a meilus. You know what everybody say? I tell you the secret stated in Tiferes Shmuel. Because the Torah that's destroying a person is not just the idea. It's the meilus that picks you up. Usually, a meilus has nothing to do with success, lahavdil, in the regular world. The guy Nebuch is not so gifted. And you're working on your car to replace your car. As Lisa said, no, not too many people going to shops. The guy would sit there and fix a car. And he spends hours and hours. Everybody says nothing to do with the end product. If you spend 4 hours or 8 hours. The bottom line is the car work or doesn't work? A guy sits on your roof all day. Doesn't make the roof any better or worse. Is the roof fixed or not? Lahavdil of those by Torah. It's only the meilus that makes you great. The Gemara says about Rabbi Yosef says about the day of he made an egla tilsa, a special meal for Shavuos. He said the Shemam Tirash. He says the Torah picked him up. The Torah makes a person melbashte anova, gives you humbleness. Rader is the greatest humble person in the whole world. The most humble person makes you great. It gives you makes you an isha sholem. You pursue peace. You love everybody else. Some karmel Torah. The meilus HaTorah changes you. It's nothing to do with you know the sugi or not. It's the work you put in on by side. That's what's destroying the ganze Mensch. And that's what is the in of Chukas HaTorah. That's the connection. This week's parsha. What does that have to do? The connection of Adam Kemas Boyle learning Torah about meilus with a parah aduma. There's no shaykhs. Because I want to tell us. Shlo Torah about meilus. Good told us the parsha is Yisrael Kabbalas HaTorah. Why is it over here in the middle of Parshas Parah Aduma? It seems like a random place, like almost fell in by mistake. Chas v'sholom. What's like a pshat? And the answer is a choik. It defies logic. Usually, if you're a smart guy, you know, gotta learn too much. Comes in easy, and that's it. They say, Chama Yosef, they say a photographic memory. A lot of stories that they couldn't find the Rashba. So he told them, just tell me which Rashba you want to know. He read them word for word by heart. Mamish photograph memory. No mamish. Called her a kula. But yet, when someone came to speak to him, and they stood there, waiting for him to take his head out of the Gemara, his wife saw a guy sitting there for over an hour. She said to you, waiting for my husband to take his head out of the Gemara, you'll be waiting all day, she said. He didn't say, well, I'm so smart anyway, I gotta work too much. No. It's only about meilus, and that's your Chukas HaTorah too, Rabbi say. It requires chazara. You stop chazering. Say Meyer Simcha or Samach, the goyin shebegoyinim. He would take with him his Gemara, went and made a coffee. He says, you can't take away from the Gemara, you forget chas v'sholom. Because the Torah requires it constantly chazer and chazer. How about those who don't find a doctor, keep chazering. Whatever you learned 50 years ago, that's what he practices. And finish. But how the Torah requires you to be Nocham. Moshe finds it in Mir Yehivah Shas 700 times. I think 700 times Shas, 200, 300 times. He never stopped chazering. 50 bar a shot. The sons just say. The Torah requires. And the Torah uplifts you. The Talmid Chacham becomes a chelik HaTorah. Ad kedei kach, you have to say with Talmid Chacham, and he represents the Torah as a shtik Torah alein. The Chazal tell us that the meat of Yaakov, the Shiur of Tavis meat, as Chalti Tzu Yola. Yaakov was the Amud HaTorah. He was like a Sefer Torah, just like the Rosh Baruch was Mashiach Knows on top of the Mishkan, on top of the Paroiches. So too, Rosh Baruch was Mashiach on top of the meat of Yaakov. Yaakov was a shtik Torah. Maka says, how foolish are those who stand up for Torah and not for Talmid Chacham. Talmid Chacham was a chelik HaTorah. His Metzias is Torah, his godless is Torah. The Torah permeates the person. That's what David HaMelech said. Tzoma lecha nafshi, kama lecha basari. Even the basar, he said, my flesh, my being, his gashmias, had a kameos, had a desire for everybody to show him. Rabbi say, Chazal tell us, when you eat a suda, Talmid Chacham, your enemy is Ashchina. It says when Moshe and Aaron says they ate a suda, Lecho lechem lefnei alekim ki nunenim ezim ashchina. Because the Talmid Chacham is on Yisraelim that even his Gashmias is holy. Rabbi said, think about it a second. Kosh Baruch Hu made us human beings. The good made us into malachim. How many hours do we waste in our lives? Not waste. How many hours do we spend eating and drinking and sleeping? You have to do it, right? The guy doesn't sleep for a while, he's in big trouble. The guy doesn't eat, how could it be a Hashem made a person to spend so much of his life doing waste? The answer is it's not a waste. His achilas hakabonis. His sleeping doesn't have avodas Hashem. His metzias of his body is mahus of Talmid Chacham is kedusha. The ganze Talmid Chacham allein is mamish Yisraelim. It's auskommt von Torah. Das Adam Kiyama Spoil transforms a person. Rabbi say, the Torah transforms a person. Yes, for people like Bilam. We see next week's parsha. Bilam was a great navi. Wow, amazing. He was a Rosh Merusha because there's no Amelus. There's no Adam Kiyama Spoil. He blind nothing. Adarab, he became a Gaiva, became a Rosh from it. It's Adam Kiyama Spoil. Her mother gave shot, or she was to say, oh, Mir she was a mother gave shot. So what do you mean, Yagatu Matzosel? If you mean Yageya, in Torah, it's not a Metzia. Metzia comes by Ezek Hadas. You can't go ahead and just find something, try to find something. Either you see 100 apple on the floor, you don't. What does it mean? What's that shot? That if you learn Torah, it becomes matzasa. Where's the mitzvah? What I say? The answer is because usually when you're miyageya, you accomplish according to the work you do. If you have to build a building, it takes a year to build. So every day it's another floor, another brick. Whatever, how much work you put in, not so much work you accomplish. But Torah is different. Torah, you put your koiches in, and Hashem gives you. The matana, the Gemara says, Aflam el-Chesed Dorim. Moshe Rabbeinu's leim shekech, Hashem gave matana. Ubidu matana, kameis masa midbar. Turn it like matana, Gemara Mesech Nedarim. You're zeichet to know much more than you learned. That's what the Gedolim knew. Moshe finds it. Look at the Gedolim. They knew Ari and Shiur. How's a Shaykh in such an amount of time to know, to cover the Kol Torah Kula, to know K'mayim L'yom Echasim? It's a chiyuv in everyone, Rabbi. It's a shkan tzidkis. It's a chiyuv Shnan Tom Levanecha. Shiur v'toy v'chadar v'ficha. It's a chiyuv to know Kol Torah Kula. Shiur v'chadar v'al Tegam game. You have a chiyuv to know Kol Torah Kula. No such thing. I didn't learn Taharis. But you didn't learn it. It's a chiyuv v'chadar v'ficha. How's it possible? The answer is Torah's machimas pesi. Makes no difference how smart or not smart, how gifted or not gifted you are. You'll be a b'Torah. You'll be zeicha. Thousands of times, millions, infinite times more than the koiches you put in. It has to be the koiches. But we said many times, that in times in the Megillah, the Gemara says, because about Saltayim Yimach HaMekara, that because there was a laziness in Liman HaTorah, the Torah didn't protect them, and that's such a gzerah, Chmos Lashman Rachman Aslan. The Mir Yehivah. Don't say they didn't learn. If they didn't learn, it wouldn't be a question. Why would they mechuyev such a gzerah, Chmos Aslan? But they learned Ba'at Saltayim. Saltayim means first few minutes you come late, leave a little early, coffee break in the middle, couple minutes to shmooze, couple minutes to catch up.
10 bathroom breaks.
Chol HaPachas. Rabbi say, a person has to realize that's the koiches of a person. In order to be able to become a godol, it's not shaykh b'asal tayim. There's no shmir from that Torah. The Torah, when you're falling asleep at a Gemara, the Torah, when you get bored, you start walking around. That's not the Torah of Adam Kiyama Spoil. Adam Kiyama Spoil means the world is dead to you. It's the only tafka and tachlis is Torah. Rabbi say, people are looking for quick fixes. People want to hear schoolis, school for this, a school for parnasa, a school for shalom bayis, a school for for gesund, the school for shidduch. No, right? You want to hear, it's easy to have shortcuts. But the Torah tells you, Beferish, you want all the brachas. Says the Torah, you'll be zoiche to all the brachas, a shefa of daishas botzir. You'll be zoiche, not just in such a shefa, you'll be zoiche, the shchatei machrit, no fear. You'll be zoiche to. You'll be strong, healthy, happy. Anything you could dream of in life comes from Amilas HaTorah, by saying. When you learn Torah about Amilas, Hashem is with you. Kodesh Baruch Hu, Yosef trying to connect you. You have Kodesh Baruch Hu with you. We said, Hashem said, Kodesh Baruch Hu says, you have me, you have me. I keep me Parish in the Torah. You have a Kodesh Baruch Hu with you. You have all the brachas of Bais. You don't have to look for any more eitzes, any schools. The Torah tells you straight out. Amilas HaTorah, Bais. Amilas HaTorah. Bais. I want to just clarify. Amilas HaTorah is not just the amount of hours you learn per day, which is obviously most important, but that every minute should be used with the ganze koiches. If you put your full focus into it, they say it today, it says, the average person doesn't use more than 10% of his mental capacity. I'm saying most of his brain is unused. You know what I mean? It's busy. They're busy. Looking at their technologies. You know what I'm saying? There are things for them. Especially today, have new technology. They do everything for you now, right? Think for you, talk for you, write for you. What's the wills? Too garnished. The mentions are behemoth. Understand? But we know it's not true. We know there's no substitute for Amilas HaTorah. There's no substitute for the chiyus in the mensch. For the chiyus in the mensch, the kesher, the boidish, the kesher with the Torah, the chazor that's needed, the reimus that comes out of it. Is that ain't shia. You're right. It's a choik. The fly's logic. Usually a smart guy. That's it. Learn 1, 2, 3, and that's it. You remember it. You're done. Torah requires again and again. Nochamol chazor. Nochamol chazor. You could spend the whole year on one mesechta. You know chazor. You forgot like you never learned it. That's the chiyuv. Why become a spoil? I just got kuda by one kuda. Pasuk says, what that means? We don't have time to cover everything here, but Pasuk says, it says, the time to Moshe Rabbeinu, they said, he brought us to a place. What brings this bad place? It's not a place of zera to ein of a geffen for even my mind. There's no water to drink after Miriam was nifteres. So they said, who wants such a bad place? There's no figs and no dates, no grapes and no pomegranates, and grad also there's no water either. I said, what's going on here? What kind of time is this? They're asking for all these different types of fruits, and then they should have said, we want water. We're thirsty. It says there was no water to drink. Why is it being down over here all of a sudden about zera to ein geffen for iming? Rabbi say, one try big aside. That is, HaKadosh Baruch Hu made the bria for us to learn from him. He made a bria mali toiv, mali chesed. He made the bracha, the berachas ilanis, lahanas ben bnei adam. Rabbi said a person can easily be a person can live off a capsule of a vitamin, a multivitamin. But Hashem made such beautiful peiros, and so many types, just because He loves us to be native to us. You can buy it there, Rabbi said, probably, 20, I don't know how many different types of apples there are, and how many different types of oranges, colors, textures, shape, size, form, smell, taste. When Rabbi Moshe wanted to be people, he made an Eishel. Rasha's Wamshan Eishel is, he made a place that he made Kohn in Paris. He would set up a beautiful table there. It's like a Rebbish bowl of fruit, He had the real bowl there. Paris dish, right? He had a real bowl there. And he had every type of apple and orange and grapes and cherries and whatever you can imagine. And he told the people, he said, look who made this. Look at the Baruch Shalom in the world that loves you. What is he doing this for? You don't need this. Person can have bread with some butter and whatever it is, a couple eggs and whatever, and that's it. You're good to go. Hashem wants to be native to us, to make the world so beautiful, so colorful, so tasty, so happy. Out of a black earth comes the most gorgeous colors. Rabbi Isai, the biggest artist, try to imagine the color of an eggplant. What color is an eggplant? It's not purple. It looks like purple, but it's the color of it. The color of a grapefruit. It's not red. It's not yellow. It's not this. The color of a fire, the Gemara says. All different colors in it. Blue, white, yellow. The chesed of the Bria, Vada, the chesed of Bria is Are and Shia. And it's for us to learn from it. It's us to learn from it that we should become Bali Chesed too. And we should see Hashem's Atova and Balach the Midrachav to go in his ways. Our Ravina was Mekar, people made them frum, not frum, made them Jewish, Megaya them. Through Paris. Through seeing the Atova. And we want to learn from Hashem as well, and also be native, and also do good to others. That was the time over here in the Pasuk. They said we're in a midbar for so many years. Everything is so drabby. All you see is just sand. We want to see the Atov of Hashem. We want to see the beautiful Paris growing. We want to see the Tomer, the beautiful date palm tree. We want to see the beautiful grapes, the Geffens. We want to see the Atov of Hashem. So we should learn from it and strike from it. When you see that Tov of Hashem, you see the Olam Chesed Yibana, you become Nisha Chesed too. You become someone V'lachta B'Trochav. Avraham Avinu said, we was having the Sefer in the first Chelek, that after Muhammad the kings, says the Melchizedek blessed. He said, Kodesh Baruch Hu is the Kohn Shemayim V'Aretz. We say it, Friday night. What's up with Kohn Shemayim V'Aretz? He couldn't understand. What made Avraham to go ahead? What possessed him to go ahead and risk his life? To go ahead and try to save his nephew Lot, after Lot had quarreled with him and went against him. What made him go ahead and run in the night into a world war? But there's such a sakana. And the answer was, he saw Kodesh Shemayim V'Aretz. Ravina understood. He saw the Welt that Kodesh Baruch Hu made. The Welt, the world, is saturated with the Rabbeinu Shalom. You see Hashem behind every facet of the Bria. There's more Chacham. She once went on a plane, and on the way off, the pilot was trying to engage Yeshiva a little bit, talking about belief and religion. And it sounded from the guy that he didn't have wasn't a Grace Amaiman. Yeshiva asked him. He said to him, "Which country do planes grow? Airplanes grow." So the guy started to laugh. He said, Rabbi, are you crazy? How can an airplane grow? He says, what do you mean? This is so complicated. Look at these buttons and knobs and levers and look at this. We can just grow from the ground. How can that be? You must be joking me. Someone had to have made this. Shiva said that. There's more chachma in the mind of a behemoth. How an animal knows exactly what to eat, what not to eat, where to go, how to hunt, how to take care of the kids, what to do. Then your whole airplane. There's more chachma in the human eye. Then everything you see over here, this whole cockpit, and all the buttons and levers. This is alles the chesed of Hashem, the wonders of Hashem. And when you look at it, it has an effect on us. And that's what they were saying. They said, more than the water. Once they already complained, they said they took out the kitchen sink, so to speak. He said, not just the water bothers us about the midbar. Midbar usually has no water. Without water, Benes, B'schus Miriam, the Beresh of Miriam. But now that we're bringing it up, now we can say that it bothers us the whole being of the midbar. We want to see the chesed of Hashem. We want to see the growth. We want to see the bracha. We don't want to just see sand. We want to see the delicious Paris, the fruits and vegetables and growth and bracha that comes out from the Bria to make us also Nishach Chesed. Rabbi say, Amaisa, we have a lot to learn over here, a lot to say over. I want to just, already concluded, but I want to just say how the parsha ends off, that Moshe Rabbeinu was scared of Og Melech HaBashan. He was scared of Og. Rashi is always scared of. Moshe Rabbeinu saw the miracles Hashem did. He dried up in Yam Suf. I said, go to the Pacific Ocean, try to dry it up. What was he scared of? Rashi says he was scared of the schus he had. When he went ahead to tell Avram Avinu, but for Yahweh Paul to tell him that the Lot was captured, he was scared of that schus. That's why. And for that reason, Hashem told him, the schus is over, he lived hundreds of years, and that's enough to worry. Rabbi said, look at the koyach of a mitzvah. Grace Azum, his father, so sounds the Rebbe used to say, even the Shaloi L'Shema, you had a mind that Avram should die, should marry Sarah, even with all the bad intentions on Ma'aseh, he did a Ma'aseh mitzvah. Look at the schar he got that Moshe Rabbeinu Gan's Kaisel was still scared of that schar for what mitzvah? What a person does. The Gemara says if a person learns Shaloi L'Shema, you should have Shaloi L'Shema, learn Shaloi L'Shema, learn. You'll come to L'Shema. Learn for a good shidduch. Abi said learn. You'll come to L'Shema. But the Shiur said, I'm to give shot. And he said that when Oig went, even he had bad intentions, but L'Maisa, when you go do a Maisa mitzvah, he went to go tell Avram Avinu about Lot to save him. Automatically, the Chitzonius is more Sapanimis, it's more the person that at some point Yitaka had a feeling for Avram. Avram was all alone in the world, all relative I was Lot. At some point he had some feeling, had some Hagosha. When you learn Torah from the Shaloi L'Shema, it's not that you'll become L'Shema tomorrow, next year, next time. As you learn Rabbi say, and you feel the Geschmack, it becomes L'Shema. As you do a mitzvah, you don't have wrong intentions, you're doing it, you're hoping, this, that, you get something out of it, right? The guy comes into the shul, looks like he's a rich guy, you run to, give him a seat, said maybe you get something out of it, right? Ul I shit. That's a derech of a mitzvah. The schus of mitzvah is so great. In Torah, it brings the person, it brings out the best of you. It's ma'or you. The etzem doing it, the etzem learning. No matter what your intention is ma'or the person. Until it comes to Madrega, the point. That mitoich shaloi l'shma is ba l'shma. Just live in the koyach and a mitzvah. That even Oig, with all his bad intentions, that yet he's had some messiahs for doing the mitzvah. That's why it stood for him so many years later. For many hundreds of years. Until today, Moshe Rabbeinu is still scared. The koyach and mitzvah. Chazal tell us, you give away all your money, not do one license say, not do one more Lashon Hara. If you're supporting 10 people in Koil and 10 yeshivas, you give it all away, not to do one license say. Rabbi said, imagine if that's how serious license say is. Imagine the schar and asay. What one word of Torah, one word of mitzvah is Rabbi says. We can't imagine. We have no mussar. Get involved. Do it. Try. Rimal bi'ageya. Milas HaTorah. You'll see the bracha. You'll become like the Steib used to say. I told him the Steib is such a Chukas learning. She used to always say, you saw this picture of the Steib bent over Gemara. It looks like he's eating the Gemara, he used to say. Like he's eating the Gemara. If Shach ate breakfast, he said, his son told him, his grandson told him, Zaydu, what are you eating? Plain bread. He said, plain bread? He said, I'm eating bread with the Rambam, he says. What could taste better than that? He said, I have the best butter for my bread. I have the Rambam. So this Rebbe said, they found it in Ksavim or Grace of Zundel, that even if he feels like he's dying, he's wiped out to the point, he's not going to show this Gemara. That was one Kabbalah that he made. Mishaveh came for the Gemara. But he said, that's Klal Yisrael. Adam Kyamas Bayel. That's the real living. That's the real life. Rabbi say, all the brachas at Torah. With all the tziyah and goyel, and